That's right. We're here for another episode, episode 5 of the Lighthouse Chronicles podcast. And thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of this fun time that we're having here. I'm here with the beautiful, lovely Amy. And we're going to have some fun today. We've been on some very deep topics the last few times. Let's make this one fun. And let's talk about all your travels. I mean, geez, you've been to I think it's closer to 15 to 20 countries.
I think so.
Somewhere in that ballpark. And a lot of people turn to you. Hey, what should I do? What should I not do? So let's focus on 15 things that you can give. Can you make it to 15, do you think?
Let's see.
15 things that you can tell them what they should not be doing when they go to other countries, right?
Okay.
All right.
And of course, let me just say a disclaimer. This is just based on my experiences. I love the whole entire world. Everyone's experience is different, but I'm just going to say based on my experiences.
All right, let's go. So right now you live in
Croatia.
How did that happen? So where did you just decide, hey, I want to go visit Croatia? Okay, now I want to live in Croatia? Is that?
So, yeah, pretty much. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so I had a friend that was studying abroad in Croatia. She had a couple-month program. And so she planted the bug of Croatia. And I was like, I can meet you there. And so I love planning trips. And so follow me on Tagalong.
Follow you where?
Tagalong Travels on Instagram. I post a lot of my content. And, so I love planning trips. So if anybody needs their trip planned, literally, what are you going to do every single day? Sea, mountain, all of that fun stuff, incorporating it all together. So I had planned a trip for, what I thought was going to be for the friend and I ended up being a solo trip. So I had always dreamt of doing a solo trip, and I see all these hashtag solo traveler, hashtag women who travel. And I was like, I want to be a hashtag solo traveler. So anyways, long story short, I planned a trip, and I ended up going by myself. And I had done so much research. When I plan trips, I do tons of research on the places, what to do, what not to do, when to go, when not to go, when to be in the mountains, all these crazy things that people probably think it's crazy, but I just really love to learn the country before I go. And so I did that about Croatia. And
so let me interrupt you. Do you feel like that's something that people should do? Should we study the country before we go? Or
I would recommend it. I feel like it enhances your experience.
Okay.
So let's say, for instance, you you go to the mountains, and now your experience is enhanced. So you're not just going to the mountains. Let's say the ancient times, and that you're in the mountains, and these people were there experiencing the mountains too, where you just stepped. And
have you ever did it the opposite way, where you just don't plan anything, you just go to a country?
I just started doing that with my husband because he is not the planner. And sometimes I have to, I'm just learning this different side of traveling, is the just going with the flow part. Which I didn't really experience before, but he's very much like, hey, let's just go to the sea and figure out where we're going to stay when we get there based on where we end up. And I'm just kind of like, so how about I create a plan A, B, C, D, and then depending on where we end up, we can pick one of those options. But his brain doesn't work like that. So I am just learning how to do that. So I'm going back, I'm bouncing around topics, but so when Vladimir and I, my husband, hey boo, the year that we had just met, so we met on that solo travel trip that I ended up in Croatia. I was supposed to be in Zagreb, which is the capital city of Croatia, just for a couple days, and I ended up meeting him on my first day in the city. I was doing a pub crawl. I signed up for a pub crawl at the hostel I was staying. Yes, I stay at hostels whenever I travel by myself. I mean, I do a lot of research. The hostels in Europe there are some that are very, very nice.
Okay, they're all our audience is wondering, a hostel. Like, we seen the movie Hostel.
Oh my gosh,
is it anything like that?
I don't think I've ever seen the movie. But let's say, so the hostel that I was staying at, it was a room of, I think it was 2 bunk beds. Maybe it had like 2 beds in the room, 2 sets of bunk beds.
No killers.
I mean, not that I knew of. But we can walk the streets right now and we don't know if somebody's a killer.
I guess you're right. Touche.
But anyways, so that's how I met him. And then, of course, I had a trip planned to do the mainland and then hit the whole entire coast of Croatia because it is absolutely beautiful. So with that said, I ended up hitting the coast and we were texting every single day, video chatting every single day. And finally, he kept on saying, you should just come back. You should come back. And I was like, you know what? If I don't go back and hang out with this man right now, I knew I wasn't doing no long distance relationship, Florida to Croatia. So I was like, either I cancel a portion of my trip, go back to Zagreb, spend time with him, see if I even like the guy, or I'm just going to, never speak to him again because I'm not going to do long distance Florida to Croatia. Well, I ended up canceling half of my trip.
Wow.
Going back to Zagreb, spending another weekend with him. And then he's like, and it was great. I was like, oh, this is nice. Like,
so your solo travel led to finding your one true love.
So then, whatever. So then I ended up, that same year, that was in July. And that same year I had a solo trip because I was like, oh, I like this solo travel thing. So I had a trip planned for Prague in December. Okay. I wanted to do Prague, London, Budapest. And I said, Vladimir, Prague is near you. I'm coming back in December and I'm going to Prague. And he's like, okay, I'll meet you there. And I was like, I don't think you understand when I say I'm going somewhere, I'm actually going. So please just don't tell me you're going to do something if you don't do it. So these are the dates. I'll be in Prague. And then after that, I'm leaving to Budapest. He's like, okay, see you there. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Then that was when I had to tap into I have to figure out how to enjoy a trip without planning. Because this guy is going to think I'm crazy if he realizes how detailed my trips are. So I just started reprogramming my mind. I'm going to see how this guy travels because that's important to me. He has to travel good and like to eat good food and random Thai massages and stuff. And I gave him 3 options of where we were going to stay. I knew where I wanted to stay.
Oh, wow.
But I gave him 3 options. Pick one. And he picked the one that I wanted to stay at. I mean, come on.
It's too good to be true.
Yeah. So long story short, we enjoyed Prague and he took a map and he was like, okay, boom. His sense of direction was complete opposite of mine. And he just showed me Prague and he had never been to Prague before. So I was like, oh, this is nice. And then he said, so you want to get some massages? And I was like,
oh, sold.
Yeah. Oh, let's go over here to eat. Oh, it looks like they have nice steak. Oh, yeah. So it was nice. It was a nice experience. We learned about each other so much in that time traveling.
That's so good.
And then I was supposed to do London, Budapest that trip. I ended up canceling that trip and going back to Croatia with him.
Oh, boy.
And then called my boss and say, hey, boss, I know I'm supposed to be back to Florida tomorrow, but it's the new year. It's the new year. And my PTO time just started over because it was the new year. Can I use all of my PTO for the following year right now? Wow. And I ended up staying with Vladimir for 3 more weeks. And that was when we decided we're going to have to figure something out.
Right.
So
that's how you ended up in Croatia, living in Croatia.
No, I was just visiting. And then I went back home.
Okay.
Worked and blah, 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 whatever.
Life as usual.
And then Corona started. So I had a trip planned for March to go back to Croatia. And that was when we were going to determine what we were actually going to do. And then Corona happened. My flight got canceled, of course. everybody was freaking out, scared to travel. And I was like, but I just want to see my baby. So, but I couldn't, canceled that. And then everybody worked from home. All of a sudden, everybody was working from home. Amy, don't go out. And I was like, oh, my wheels are turning. Maybe I can work from home and go to Croatia. So that's what I did.
Wow.
Vlad and I said, hey, let's try this for like a month and let's see how it works out. I ended up there for 4 years.
And here you
and
are
quit
now
my
married.
job.
Now married.
And now we're married. We got married last year.
Wow. So where are some other countries you've been? Like, start naming up some.
So I have been to Morocco, so Africa, Morocco,
Okay.
Tanzania, Spain, Portugal, Belgium, Ireland, the Netherlands, the UK, Spain. Did I say Spain?
I don't think you did.
Spain. Well, Croatia, Slovenia. I didn't go to Bosnia. I think that's it. Oh, wait. Central America. Belize. Oh my gosh, so many countries. I'm trying to think.
That's like 12. I
Hawaii,
think we're at like 12 right
Belize, Nicaragua,
now. Hawaii is a state.
Costa Rica. Oh yeah, that's I said Hawaii.
I think a lot of people do that. I felt like somebody just did that like a week
I mean,
ago.
Jennifer, you didn't have to call me out.
I mean, so out of all of those, I mean, that was pushing 15, and I'm sure you
I might have forgotten, yeah.
What's the one memory that stands out, the one country that stands out, and why?
Morocco. I mean, Costa Rica. I mean, okay, so many, but Morocco for me, because when Morocco was just like a dream trip. And then all of a sudden, you see all these wonderful things, Marrakesh and camping out in the desert and riding camels, and it just seems so amazing. And it just seems like something that was just unattainable. Like it's a dream. That's not going to happen.
What's the best memory in Morocco, or the best experience in Morocco?
I think it was.
Don't say shopping. You're not allowed to say shopping.
I was gonna say shopping. I was gonna say when I walked into like where they make the carpets, the rugs and stuff. There was actually a person making it, and then they just laid down all of the carpets all over the floor, and I was just like, so do you guys ship all of this? Can you guys just ship all of this to my house? And it was just really, really cool to see how they actually make it. That was cool. But for me, really, the best experience was camping out in the desert, and the camel took us out to the desert, and we were just like camping, and they gave us like these drums, and we were wrapped. We had the whole outfit. So people thought I was actually Moroccan, and I just love that so much. I love when I go different countries and they feel like I am from there. And I don't know, it was just the coolest thing, because the Moroccans, their culture is just so beautiful. It's so rich. All of the seasonings, and walking through Marrakesh, and it's so busy, but yet everybody finds time to spend time and converse with one another. I think that it's just such a beautiful culture.
Is there another country that's similar to that that has that same kind of vibe, right? Like, it's like family is so important. Connecting is so important. Is there another maybe culture or country that stands out to you that was similar to that?
I would say Costa Rica would be my next country that I would definitely go back to time and time again. Well, I have some stories about Costa Rica too. Car broke down when we were in the mountain. We actually almost died. I was driving, but it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault.
Okay.
But we had rented a car because we wanted to rent local, and we rented a car. And while we were going uphill, we were smelling burn. Well, it was the brakes that were burning. And yeah. And so I was trying to brake. So, going uphill, trying to brake a little bit, go a little bit, and nothing would happen. So finally, I was telling the girls, hey, this is what's happening. And they're just like, and I'm like, I don't think you're understanding. Like, the brakes don't work. And so I was going, like, the mountain is here, and I was going this way. Traffic's coming this way, and then there's just the ledge to go down over here.
Oh.
So the car that I was driving was going up, and then all of a sudden it just started rolling back this way. And the only thing that was holding it was a pole right here.
Oh my goodness.
And I just panic mode.
So what not to do? Don't drive in a car that the brakes are.
Well, I think, no. I mean, how are you going to?
I'm being dramatic, but I mean, how can someone prevent that? Like,
think was
this a rental? Or?
This was a rental. I think the biggest thing is to make sure that they are doing inspections. If you're going to do the local way, we always like to book local and support the local communities, but sometimes you just have to pay a couple extra dollars and go with Hertz or Enterprise so that you don't die. So, yeah. So they ended up, they were really nice about it. Well, so that's
hilarious.
So the Costa Ricans, they saw us. And so the two girls went out of this side of the car, and then I had to crawl over and get out of the car. And they saw us struggling, right, with the car. So they actually hopped in the car, did whatever they needed to do to fix it, and moved the car uphill. And like helped us.
Pushed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, and I was like, I can push. No. Like, we'll take care of it. We'll take care of it. And then they actually also followed us to make sure that we made it to the meeting point of the car rental. Because the car rental service, they brought us a new car, and they just met us outside of the volcano. And the people that we didn't even know, they just followed us to make sure that the car made it to the meeting point. And I said, let me give you guys some cash, please. And he said, no, pura vida. I just want you to know this is how the Costa Ricans are.
Wow.
And I was just like, sign me up. I just want to move here. And it was such a beautiful thing. And we had several situations, not to that extreme that our car broke down, but different situations where Costa Ricans would just kind of like guide us or help us, or they just want everyone to experience how it is to be in their land. Nice. And that was just a really, really nice experience. I recommend Costa Rica to everyone.
Okay. So let's share one more story, because I love the story about when you were sleeping with elephants in the safari. That is one of my favorite stories. When you went, that was Tanzania?
Yes.
And you were in which desert?
So that was in the Serengeti.
Serengeti. So yes. This is another what not to do. Maybe like, do you do the lodge?
I mean,
or do you do the tent?
It's just elephants? Your preference. It's your preference.
Okay.
So we had a fabulous.
So here's
time.
what you get. Here's what you get when you sleep in the tent in the middle of the desert.
In the middle of Serengeti.
In Serengeti.
Yes.
Okay.
So what not to do? Don't drink the water. But like, I knew that, right? But there was this fresh breakfast. It looked great. The juice was fabulous. It was fresh squeezed. And I was like, dang, they just made that juice for me. Let me take a sip. Boom. Vlad, you're not drinking yours. Why? He said, I don't want to drink it. I'll drink yours too. Boom. Drink his. Right? Because I like to eat and drink. So, and whatever. So, that day we were going to the Serengeti. They were picking us up from our cute little spot we were staying, and they were taking us out to the Serengeti. I was fine. I was like, okay, I'm feeling full. I'm feeling good. I'm going to be good in the middle of the Serengeti. And then the truck, I mean, there's so many like potholes and everything like that. You're in the middle of Serengeti. They're not paving. And then boom, 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 boom. And I was like, something is not right. And, sure enough, I got so sick, and Vlad and I were like trying to figure out what happened. Like, I got the chills and everything, like Vlad, and I was just trying to like, I got this, Amy, you got this. Don't be dramatic. You're not sick. You're in Serengeti. You're not getting sick. And I was like, I just drank that fresh juice, and I ate the same thing you ate. I don't understand what happened. And then later on that day, Vlad was, and one of our travel guys, they were putting up the tent because it was an actual tent.
Right.
We were in the middle of Serengeti. There was no fence. There was nothing. And I was just...
Where's this story going? Hold on a second.
I put my jacket on the floor and I just laid on the floor in like a ball because didn't feel well at all. So they also warned us, don't have any food inside of your tent. So that night, because the elephants or the lions, or they might smell the food and want to access the food from the inside of your tent. So, and also when you go use the restroom, it's just like a campsite kind of.
Okay.
But it's in the middle of Serengeti. There's like not everybody, all of the animals are roaming freely. And they make sure like when you're going to the bathroom, you have to have a light on, because if you have the light on, then the lion's not going to want to eat you. So you just have to make sure. What's happening here? So you just have to make sure that you have a light on. And so we had a little headlight thing. So funny. But it was so fun. Come on.
I'm sorry. Let's focus.
But I was safe. I was just like looking up. Is he going to jump from the top? I'm just going to be a couple more minutes.
So you couldn't help yourself. I needed some Oreos. And then.
That's exactly what it looked like. So
needed some Oreos. Elephant smelt it.
No, the elephant didn't come into our tent or anything. It was just a breezy evening. And so when we were at the airport, somebody showed us a video of like the elephant pushing the tent like that. And so so that night it was a windy evening and our tent started moving. We just I'm like, oh gosh. And Vladimir's like, Amy, where are the cookies? Where are the cookies? Why are the cookies in here? And I was like, baby, it's okay. They told me it would be okay. So he thought it was an elephant. It wasn't an elephant.
Okay.
But he thought it was.
It was just the wind.
It was just the wind.
Okay,
and we were safe.
Everybody wants to know that night that you were in the ball, like curled up.
Don't, Jennifer, don't start. Don't.
What happened? Like, I mean,
I don't want to finish that story. I just wanted to leave it at that. So why are you revisiting it?
Oh, I love it because I know how it makes you feel. It's so funny.
So anyways, so that was our trip to Tanzania, and we did Tanzania. We also did Zanzibar, which is part of Tanzania, but absolutely amazing trip. Actually, that morning we had breakfast, and
the beaches were like the pictures you showed me.
Absolutely beautiful. And so I think people may be wondering, well, if there's no fence or anything in the Serengeti, then how are you protected from the lions and the other animals that roam freely? So we had a Maasai, which is one of the tribes out in Serengeti. They actually live on Serengeti. They feel like they're one with the lions. And if the lion approaches them, they look the lion in the eye, and the lion, they have like a unity. And the lion just goes away, doesn't harm them or anything. So we had a Maasai that was actually protecting all of our tents, and he stood up he was awake throughout the entire evening to make sure that nothing actually happened.
Wow.
And so the culture is just so beautiful. I mean, it was something that I definitely want to revisit.
So let's kind of conclude with this. What is the biggest mistake that you ever made traveling that I don't know, tell us a story about that. Like I did this and this is the result of that traveling.
I don't know. Like, I feel like when you travel, of course it depends on your mindset, but I feel like when you travel, for me personally, when I travel, I don't feel like if I make a mistake, it's actually a mistake. I don't want to do it again.
Got it.
I think the biggest thing that I have learned is to create pockets of time in my itinerary that are open to just, if a local tells you to go, hey, you guys should really go check that out, that you can have that pocket of time to just go check that out. Instead, when I first started traveling, I was like overbooking everything.
Okay.
And then it wouldn't leave us that time, that free time.
Just to be flexible.
To just be
and go with the
flexible and
flow.
free and go with the flow. Maybe, you just did a tour and they want to add something on to that tour.
Yeah.
So you guys can just go check it out. It's right in the area. And we weren't able to do that if I had overbooked the itinerary. So now I incorporate chunks of time throughout that I know, well, there are some pretty cool things in that area, 4 hours to just kind of, meander around. And so, and that's my perspective on traveling.
Yeah.
Other people, maybe they had bad experiences, maybe going to Morocco during Ramadan. Wouldn't recommend that. I would not recommend dressing like you're in Miami when you're in Morocco. Things like that. You gotta think about it, right?
Well, when I went to Abu Dhabi, like they made me put on, I mean, I had jeans on though, but they also, it was the, I don't remember the name of the church in Abu Dhabi, but they made me put on like an actual thing. Like I love, like, just like you said, you love that experience. I love that experience.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I was like, look at me. Like I loved it. I was really.
Oh, I went to Hong Kong. I just thought about that. That was nice too. I forgot.
That was one of your first trips. I remember that.
That was actually my first solo trip. It was a 16-hour flight, and I was like, oh, cool. Here I go. That was pretty cool. But yeah, so that's just the biggest thing. I think, when you travel, you just have to travel with an open mind. You have to travel without these expectations. And I think in life, we all are guilty of setting too many expectations on whether it's people or things or situations or experiences. You know what? Maybe when you go to that elephant sanctuary,
Right.
the elephant's not going to feel like standing up. So don't expect that the elephant's going to want to put you on his trunk and do all these cute things for the gram. He might just want to sit down. And so find a different way to enjoy him just sitting down. And so I feel like that's a lot of, as a tenured traveler, that's what I can easily say is a takeaway for me to share with the audience, is just to be creative with ways to enjoy your different environment.
I love that. And that's a good mic drop moment. All right. Well, hopefully this has helped. Do you think it helped them? I think
Yes, absolutely.
I think it did.
And I don't want anyone to be afraid of any type of odd experience I may discuss. Like I said, they're just my experiences.
Absolutely. So go create your own. And if you have any questions about travel, you know who to reach out to. All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.